Hey, MBA hopefuls, we are live on the air with MBA Waves, your weekly vidcast talking all things business and education, streaming live every Tuesday on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, bringing you up close and personal with top-ranked MBA programs around the world so you can get all your questions answered and start making connections early. Don't forget, if you like this week's episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Today in episode 109, we're going to talk with SDA Bocconi and what's new with them. We are going to dive into everything you need to know about SDA Bocconi, or SDA Bocconi as they say in Italy, their journey to becoming a top 10 ranked MBA program worldwide, and how you can be a competitive applicant. As always, I'm your host, Eric, joined by my co-hosts, Krithika and Bara. How you doing, guys?
Great.
Awesome.
Good to see everybody.
You too. And so going around the room, Valentina Mardegan is in charge of business development and international recruitment for masters and the MBA, I believe. And could you tell us really quickly, Valentina, where are you from, where are you based now, and how long you've been working for Bocconi?
Yes. First of all, thank you, Eric, and hi, everyone. Very happy to be here with you today. So as you said already, I am Valentina Mardegan. I'm part of the recruiting and admissions office at SDA Bocconi. I've been with Bocconi for 2 years, but I've been working in the higher education field for like many years, in Italy, in Germany, and then now back to Italy. And I'm based in the greatest Milan. Thank you.
Awesome. And Cinzia, the same question goes to you. You are part of the career development team and employer relations team with a specialty in, I believe, luxury, retail, and cosmetics. Can you tell us where are you from and where are you based now and how long you've been working at Bocconi?
Correct, Eric. My name is Cinzia, as you said. Thank you for inviting me to this session. I've been working for Bocconi since 2019, but before that, I was still working in the education sector, especially in the luxury and design education for other 9 years. So totally, I've been doing this career development related things since almost 12 years.
Fantastic. And last but not least, we're joined by a recent alum, Mattia Quaresmini. I think I hopefully pronounced it correctly, who's an alum of the full-time MBA program. Mattia, could you please quickly share like where you're originally from and what you did pre-MBA, as well as what you're doing now, where you're located?
Hey, Eric. Thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be here today. First of all, yes, you pronounced it correctly. So I'm Mattia Quaresmini, coming from the north of Italy, a small city called Brescia, right in the center of Lombardy. And I've been working for 3 years, different companies in the north of Italy. And then thanks to SDA Bocconi, I made my triple jump. So I landed in Zurich. So I'm actually working as a global sourcing manager for AB InBev here in the Zurich area.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mattia. Bara, I'm going to turn it over to you to take the first question.
Sure. So I would like to know what's new and exciting at SDA Bocconi, and I'm really curious what SDA stands for.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Bara. I'll start from the second part of the question. SDA stands for the Italian Scuola di Direzione Aziendale. So it's School of Management, basically. There are a couple of new updates and new things, especially thanks to the latest Financial Times ranking that, as Eric already mentioned, exactly. So yes, we've been working hard to reach that. And also, to be honest, we'll hear some more details about the actual experience, because I think it's important to dedicate the time to also hearing really the insight, I always say, from someone who lived the program, and that's always super helpful for future candidates and for possible prospective students. In short, I just wanted to add also that it's not super recent, but Mattia could already experience the new campus. We have since 2020 a new beautiful campus in the heart of Milan, and I think this really makes the difference. It's a really like bright and open area, and this kind of also represents what stands behind the MBA, right? So yes, we'll hear more about that later.
Fantastic.
Did
Good,
you
good.
know what SDA stood for?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it was Italian in the beginning. Yeah.
Oh, that's why it didn't register.
Yes. Scuola di direzione aziendale. Okay, so it's School of Management.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
So
you can
that's-
pronounce it SDA or SDA. Like in
SDA.
Italian, we say SDA. Yeah,
Okay.
but SDA is fine.
And that
Okay.
shows like how beautiful even a school of management is in Italian.
Exactly, right? It's musical. It's like music.
Krithika,
Yes,
go
so
ahead, please.
we can
Yeah,
proceed to the next question, I'd say.
Yeah, speaking about the MBA program, I know that's beautifully placed in beautiful Milano. Other than that, what are some of the standout and unique features of the program?
Yes. Thanks for the question. I will soon leave the floor to Mattia, as I said before, since he can really share some more insightful details. I would just say from the side of the staff who works at Bocconi and who sees students every single day, and also hears from professors, from the director, like feedback and all of that. One of the main things that we hear is really appreciated is the size of the group. The MBA program at SDA Bocconi is, to be honest, quite small. We have around 95 to 100 participants. So this makes the class and the class environment really small and really cozy. As also, it's quite important when you do a program like this. It's such a huge investment, and it's really important to have attention from, let's say, our side, but also for you to be able to interact in a very efficient and productive way. And then maybe the other point I would mention in terms of unique features, I would say we focus a lot on leadership, on sustainability, on entrepreneurship, innovation, and like in general, an experience that needs to be transformative. The director of the program is a professor of sustainability. He cares really a lot about that. As I mentioned before, the campus is new, and probably you've seen pictures of the beautiful campus, or you've been there, Eric, too. And the idea is really to kind of convey that also through the building. So these would be my points, but I'll let Mattia maybe share some more details about his experience and what makes made for him the MBA unique.
Thanks, Valentina. And if I have to talk about my experiences, all of them in 15 months, then we should stay here for 24 hours at the least. So calling back to your points, first of all, the new campus, amazing. There is no other word to describe how the new campus is. So everybody that just visits SDA Bocconi is going to be astonished, I can assure that. And obviously, this is also part of your full experience. So the new campus really changed, and this is something that I heard from recent alumnus and current students there. Secondary, you mentioned the importance of the size of the class. So this is something that is, at least to me, was really important, especially when it becomes to have a group project. When SDA Bocconi, for example, put in place a rotational classes in which you basically get in contact with everybody at the end of the year. And this is extremely important. As you already know, sometimes people can just be focused on their career and just they think about where can I land and which type of job, which kind of industry. But at the end of the day, we are having a real high-level educational program, and it's delivered through several business case projects. And if you can share those projects with your peers and you can stay in contact with them every day from 8 to 6 p.m. in the afternoon, this is really going to change your life and is really going to change your experience in an MBA. So this is critical for me, the size of the class. You really have the opportunity to create a small family after 9 to 15 months. So this is really, for me, the key points that SDA Bocconi has and makes SDA Bocconi stands out of all the biggest business schools. Yeah.
Thanks, Mattia. And so for those of us in the MBA world, we often talk about finding the right fit. And there are tons of fantastic MBA programs out there, but each of them has their own, unique flavor of delivering the nuts and bolts of that MBA. And a lot of it comes down to culture. So could you, maybe all three of you perhaps, tell us, please, about the culture at Bocconi?
Yes, sure. Thanks, Eric. I think my colleague Cinzia will share more in terms of the career part in a second, but I would say what we shared already is really important. And Mattia mentioned that the fact simply that when we have 100 students, we divide them from the very beginning into two groups of 50, more or less, right? But we mix them during the year so that everybody has a chance to interact with everyone else and to enhance the possibilities to create network, create relationships, and simply work with each other. So working with each other is fundamental and is really part of the culture. As he mentioned already, business games and case studies and projects and presentations and all of that during the sessions and during everyday's life somehow. I would add the fact that one of the important points is the experience as a whole. So it's a lot about content, about lectures, about exams, and Mattia will probably share that too, or agree that it's a lot about exams too, but it's also a lot about the experience. So there are many different clubs. There are activities outside of the lessons, like the so-called extracurricular activities that are not mandatory, of course, but are super recommended simply to make the experience like a whole journey that lasts 1 year, but still is like super transformational. So I would say if you want to start an MBA and you're looking also to kind of have this balance between the two, it's really important that you start that already with the mindset of being open to other people, being open to your classmates, to the companies, but also, of course, to the other activities that will simply lead you to meet other people and other students from other programs, the one in healthcare, the one in fashion. Exactly. So I would say these would be super important points to consider. Mattia, if you want to add something here about your experience.
Yeah, Valentina, I love the fact that you use the word transformational, because I would love to describe the culture as the Bocconi, especially focus on being transformative. So I personally made a triple jump, so I changed basically everything I could have changed in my life. But this is the spirit. This is the culture of SDA Bocconi. You have to land the MBA in SDA Bocconi being able to transform everything. So you should put yourself on the table and start to questioning yourself about everything. Basically, you have to understand that you need to be flexible, because then the full experience, what Valentina was talking about, the full experience you can get if you are fully flexible and fully ready to receive all the information coming from outside, from your peers, from the professors. It's really something amazing. And I really believe that it's the same way as the Bocconi now just landed the top 10 MBA in the world. In the same way, I was feeling myself landing this 100, like a class of 100 people ready to fight for the best, for the best grades in a lot of exams. So very challenging environment, but in which if you are flexible, if you are ready to be transformed in something different, in something greater, then you're going to be successful. So this is for me the culture of SDA Bocconi expressed in a nutshell.
Super.
Nice. Well, I'd like to hear a little bit about the admissions process at Bocconi. So many of our listeners today are thinking about applying to your program. And so what should they expect? What are some suggestions, or what can you offer in terms of being a great applicant for Bocconi?
Yes, this is very important. Thanks, Bara. I've also seen that we have a question from Diego, and we can tackle that in a second with my colleague Cinzia, maybe. The main points I would highlight in terms of really being a successful candidate, or simply going through the process in a very committed kind of way, would really be to focus a lot on the balance. I would really like to use this word again, between or among all the points that are asked as requirements for the application. So on the one hand, you have all the practical side, with the GMAT, with the English level being, of course, C1, with the references, with the questions you have on the application form, the video pre-interview, and the interview. So all the practical points that will be part of your process, and it will be considered in terms of your hard skills and what you bring to the table as a professional. But I will also really like to highlight the fact that it's going to be super important to bring also to the whole process what the soft skills are. So basically everything that has to do also with your motivation, also with you as a person, who you are as a person, what your values are, what your everything that's related to you and what you would be and how you would feel into an MBA class. Sometimes I get the question, is there one point which is better considered, is the GMAT, and we'll talk about that in a second, I'm sure, is the GMAT so important compared to? It is so important, yes, but it's everything at the same level. So the process is competitive and it's tough. The acceptance rate is around 25-30%. But really, how to stand out, I always say, well, make it personal. Really talk about who you are and what you bring. Exactly. Mattia, since you went through the process, maybe you can, share a bit more and give some recommendations or tips.
Yeah, absolutely, Valentina. And love the way in which you spoke about the quantitative part. I wouldn't say in an easy way, because it's not easy. Taking the GMAT is not easy. Prepare for the English level, the TOEFL is not easy as well. So this part, I'm sure that the level of people that wants to apply in SDA Bocconi as part of the next MBA, for sure the level of those people is already extremely high. From a quantitative perspective, that there is an admission rate, that you can be successful, but maybe if you're not committed enough, then you can struggle a little bit, and maybe the result is not good enough. But all the quantitative part is something you can fix, and I would say easily. What you can't fix, or if you don't commit enough, is to answer one simple question. And for me was why? Why are you going to do an MBA? Why do you want to do an MBA? And I read once I entered in a big business school in the US, and there was this sentence on top of the main entrance was saying, why are you here and not somewhere else? So this is the basic question you have to answer yourself. Why you want to enter into an MBA, and why specifically in SDA Bocconi? I think this is the first step. Then all the quantitative part, I'm sure that with your abilities, you are going to fix that part easily and committing and studying. But this is not the most difficult one. So at least for me, the most difficult one, and for sure, Valentina can agree on this. You're going to receive a lot of questions regarding why you want to do an MBA, why in SDA Bocconi, why in Milan. So be prepared on that part as well, because I think it's critical. As critical, even more critical than the quantitative part. This is my personal opinion.
Guys, I want to share a question that came in from someone from the audience. This gentleman named Diego from Mexico City wrote earlier, and he's continuing on with the question. He says, hello from Mexico City. Talking as a possible applicant, what is the percentage of students that graduate and receive job offers after graduation? And from that percentage, how many stayed in Italy or the EU? Now, I'm not 100% sure if our guests today are able to answer that fully today, but I'll let you answer what you can.
Okay, so I think I'm taking the mic. So the percentages, we've delivered a survey on the last class graduated in 2022. And that survey, after 3 months from graduation, stated that 95% of our graduates landed a job 3 months after graduation. And I would say that most of them were based in Europe, but it's subtly dependent on the functions that they chose. If they entered an MBA program, as Mattia did, or they chose to go on with full-time opportunities. So it strongly depends on the career plans and what we strategize together with them. I invite Diego, please, to look at the demographics and all the data that are available on our websites, because there is a lot of more that you can assume from there. So we have that 95% stated. So that's the percentage.
Thank you, Cinzia. Krithika, did you want to take the next question?
Yeah, like I have like a follow-up question to the admissions process one. This is probably to Cinzia. What role does the career development team play in the admissions process, or if at all they have any role?
Thank you for asking. It's something that we're really developing and trying to hone and to improve those days. The role of the career development inside the admission process is the one that we bring on all the year round. That is the consultant for specific roles, for specific, let's say, CVs that we see requesting to be admitted or requesting to have further information on the program. Since from the very beginning, Valentina and the team, as Mattia said, they ask why you want to come here. So why do you want to pursue an MBA? What's your main driver? Is it the function? Is it the country? Is it the career development? Whatever. So in case they need further information that are not the, let's say, the most common ones that the recruiting and admission service provide, the girls, the Valentina and all the team, they come to us, and sector by sector, since we are divided by sectors, but I'll cross that bridge later on. They come to us, and we normally have this, let's say, deep dive calls with potential candidates.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cinzia. Okay, so, we talked a little bit about testing already, but I'll come back to this. So the GMAT and the GRE, standardized testing in general, is a big topic these days. And we just actually had ETS on the show, the guys who make the TOEFL and the GRE, and they were speaking about the upcoming changes. The new TOEFL and GRE, I'm sure you're all very aware, come into effect on September 23rd this year. And the GMAT the new GMAT, the focused edition, is being phased in probably the following month, October or November. So a lot of changes. Anyway, what's your take on the GMAT and the GRE? How important is it for Bocconi? If you could just come back to that a little bit more.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Eric. As I mentioned before, it's, and as Mattia confirmed, the idea behind the whole selection process is to get to know our candidates. So we get to know them through all the technical and practical points like the GMAT, as well as all the other points that also Mattia shared. I would say it is absolutely important as any other aspect. I would also recommend preparing in advance, so not waiting until the last minute, not really because of the deadlines or anything like that, but really for you. Just allow yourself to have also enough time to maybe retake the exam if you're not satisfied or happy. Like, don't wait until the very last minute. Usually the final deadline of the application process at Bocconi is in April, and therefore we usually say start earlier. You can even start applying in August of the year before, right? So it's crucial to do that. I am super sure that many of our candidates are now absolutely happy that the GMAT will have a new structure. But Mattia, maybe you can share how you prepared for it and how the whole experience was for you, because I think, well, I'm sure it's a crucial point for 99% of our candidates.
Yes, definitely, Valentina. It is crucial. I would say that more on the preparation of the quantitative part of the GMAT, you have to see the preparation of the GMAT as a huge project that you need to deliver. So for me, at least, this was, then you can call it GMAT. Maybe in 10 years from now, they're going to call it with a different name. The only thing that I perceived, at least for me, was to try to overcome the project. So I had a deadline. I knew I had to deliver this project. I know, as you said, that maybe I should have left some time to just retake it in case I was not satisfied enough. But at the end of the day, you have to commit yourself in probably some subjects in which you're not feeling confident. Maybe you're struggling with the math part or the physics part, but you know what you are lacking. So you have every information you need, especially now with the internet era. You really have all the information, tools, all the help you need to deliver this project. So again, I'm coming back to my previous sentence. If you really know why you are doing that, I'm sure you're going to deliver this project. That is called GMAT in this case, but you can call it TOEFL, you can call it however you want. You have to commit, understand where you're lacking, and then put a lot of time, a lot of effort to try to overcome and obtain the result you want.
I'm going to tell this to our candidates, Mattia. This is really helpful. Yes. Super.
Thanks, Mattia. Krithika, did you want to take the next question, please?
Sure, yeah. I think like this is one of my favorites too, like which is about academics. And I know that SDA Bocconi has some of the best, fantastic professors. We do have a SDA Bocconi Asia campus in India, and some of them had visited before. In terms of like faculty members, who are your star professors and what are they working on, which makes them so great?
Yes, there are many, to be honest. And I was talking about that with Mattia before today when we shared a bit and we were talking about this session. And Mattia said, well, I mean, there are so many and maybe they're not even all on the MBA, right? Like they are, and it's hard to just pick 2, 1, or 3. Still, so he will be sharing a bit more since he lived the program and he can really share some practical details. From my side, I would say always for you who are now looking now or later on looking at starting an MBA, the faculty part is super, super important too. So be sure to know the faculty and be sure to go to the website and look at the profiles and read a bit, but also come to the campus. You can always attend a lesson just as a trial lesson somehow, and just to feel somehow already the environment and talk to the students, because that makes the difference. Like understanding how you would feel in class, understanding who you would be your professor can really make a difference. So yes, I'll leave now the floor to Mattia because I'm sure he can share some more interesting details.
Absolutely. And I'm happy that I'm not going to share with you some of the great examples we had during the MBA of like very classic lesson in which you have the professor in front of you explaining something to the whiteboard and everybody is listening. Absolutely not. Okay, so I'm sure that you already had this experience in your previous universities. And I'm sure that you know how great the professors at SDA Bocconi are. So that part, like the classic explanation of one subject to from the professor to the students, SDA Bocconi covered this, I would say, amazingly. So there's no doubt over there. What I want to stress today is that SDA Bocconi in the 9 months I lived on campus is delivering some subject in a very different way. So as an example, I would love to take the supply chain course from Professor Giuseppe Stabilini. And I love that course because we spend 1 full week. When I say full week, I mean from 8 to 6 p.m. all together. And we were in the shoes of one CEO, the CFO, and divided into different companies. We were competing in this basically fake market, and we were supposed to take marketing decision, sales decision, operational decision. And at the end of the day, it means at the end of the year for that business case, we were going to compete against each other. We were able to buy other companies and to share the profit, for example. So this experience has simply been amazing. And thanks to this, we basically deliver 50% of the course. And we didn't even understand how this happened. But at the end of the day, we were already having all of this content about supply chain, operation. And it was really easy. It was really to learn in that way. And I will always remember this. Now, almost 2 years passed already, but I still recall all those small moments in which we bought a small company, in which you share the profit with another one. So this was something I would love to stress. And then talking about pure academic stuff, I really love the course from Professor Pogus, that is also the MBA director, about sustainability. As Valentina said, sustainability is one of the main pillars of SDA Bocconi. And really, having this professor, so Stefano Pogus, delivering this topic with such a great passion, really involved the full class, and you really feel that you are part of something bigger than what you expect. So these are just 2 examples, but really, I could give you thousands of examples.
So do international students get to take virtual classes with professors?
Virtual classes? No, it's everything in person. Everything on campus in Milan, from the very beginning until the very end.
Okay.
And if I can, I would love to add that also here during COVID period, always respecting the different rules that we had in Italy at that time, all the staff, the faculty really pushed in order to have the full class on campus. So every time we could have, thanks to the new rules that they were changing basically every week, every time was possible for us, we were on campus. And this really changed the full program, because taking the class virtually, we know that is something flexible, that is something that everybody would love to have. But at the same time, I think that thanks to this opportunity that we have to always stay in contact with each other, really enhance and increase our full experience. So this really think that SDA Bocconi did a great job with this topic.
It's really incredible, because if I remember back in January, February 2020, Lombardia was one of the hardest hit, that northern part of Italy where Milan is. It must have been scary, but somehow you managed to make it work with the classroom spaces, the technology, whatever it was. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So shifting gears a little bit, can you talk to us about the latest Financial Times rankings? Congratulations are in order. And tell us a bit about that journey. Valentina, you had mentioned that was something that you all were working on. So I'm curious to hear maybe about that. Yeah,
sure. Thanks, Bara. So exactly, no, we are really happy about that, and also, especially because as I mentioned before, the focus has always been on creating an experience. And as I mentioned before, experience not only means content, but also means, a lot more. And it's great that we could really convey that through all the single lessons, the case studies, or the business games that Mattia was sharing, from that to the activities that our Career Development Center, so the Cinzia and all of our colleagues, that big team, we try to really create that. So the ranking, for sure, when I have orientation meetings and I'm meeting with candidates, I don't focus the attention on that, because I think that's something that's there, and you can go and look and find the school that has the highest one or the lowest. I think that speaks a lot about the quality of the program, absolutely. But my personal take on that is choose a program where you feel you kind of belong to. So this is why I said before, come and visit a class, come and visit a campus, meet with us, meet with me, meet with Cinzia, meet with my colleagues. It's a life decision. It needs to be taken really in a considerate way, thinking about where you feel more comfortable. We have sometimes candidates traveling all the way from like Canada or Peru or China, like coming here and just saying, I'm just visiting the campus. And I'm like, yes, this is exactly the approach, because you really need to feel at home somehow, right? So the ranking is absolutely important too, but there's also a lot more, I think. Yeah, exactly.
Krithika, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So I was just curious, like, do you have other virtual opportunities for people who can travel?
For the MBA specifically, no, it's only in presence. Also because, as Mattia shared before, I would say for the academic point of view, so for the program, it's only in presence. When instead you are looking at making your decision, so the step before. Yes, for sure. So if you are referring to that, we offer so many different activities, both online and in person. The next one is going to be on September 23rd. So if you are all now watching this session and you are based outside of Italy, think that you can always absolutely join online for any session, any info session, any also online classes. Sometimes we open that possibility too, but really just to give you as much information as possible, as many details as possible to take the decision in the best way.
Right. And this is a question to Cinzia. Like, what are some of the main industries that Bocconi MBA grads specialize in, especially with Milan being the fashion capital? Does everybody go to Gucci or Valentino?
So thank you for asking. This is particularly my industry. So overall, the industries and the functions the typical MBA graduates land in, I would say they are consulting, finance, yes, retail, luxury, commerce. I would also add the industrial manufacturers, depending again on the way the single candidate takes the experience here at SDA Bocconi, because it's not just about what the market offers, and luxury is peculiar, but I'll go there in a while. It's also about the expectations and what the candidate and the participants want to pursue during the MBA and after the MBA. So those are the most populated industries for the after course, but definitely changes from time to time, I would say. For what retail luxury industries regards, the peculiarities and what's particular of my sector is definitely the type of careers that are possible there, the type of candidates that are more adequate or not for the industry that is, as you correctly said, the most typical and let's say common shared, worldwide shared for our country. But the sense of having a career development advisor dedicated to the industry is exactly this. So if you come here, if you start the path with us, the career development is there to make you understand and to make you aware and really present on what can be and which are the options and how it works and how the salaries work and how the interview process works in a certain industry. So amazing going to work for Gucci and Valentino, but it depends on the expectations that the single candidate has. And in terms of culture, referring back to what Valentina and Mattia shared, the fact of having this relatively small class allows the CDC, the Career Development Center, to have literally almost a one-to-one approach to the candidates. So I perfectly know what my 25 mentees from 2023 class are doing, what they want to do, which were their objectives before, and if they met, what's the next step? How can we develop further their career looking towards the graduation? So the sense of having a dedicated career advisor also is, let's say, aligned with this type of culture.
Wow, that's incredible.
Thank you, Cinzia. And just to go a little bit more beyond the scope of luxury, fashion, and so forth, obviously people who take the risk to quit their job and spend a small fortune doing an MBA want to know what the ROI is. So could you tell us a little bit more in detail what the career service is beyond the scope of the luxury space at Bocconi, and what can graduates expect in terms of employment opportunities? We have the example of Mattia right here, but maybe some other examples for people who are listening today who are potentially going to apply.
So thank you for asking. Since the Career Development Center developed through the years an intensive program to develop and to really grow the careers. So it's not just the career service as I would say the normal state or the university provides. We are counselors. We are one-to-one advisors. So you know that you can come to us besides the normal training plan that I will display, but it's really someone, you can find someone that knows the industry and how it works and what's around and how you can catch the opportunities. So the career development is really a one-to-one approach, also sometimes tailor-made. The training plan that we develop for every candidate, for every participant, starts right before the beginning of the program. So we are now working on the class of 2024. We review suddenly just the time of the admissions. We review with them their CV. We make them aware of what's around, the main industries that can be covered after MBA. In terms of return on investment, they must be aware, and it's something that we really stress on, that there are two typical paths after the MBA. The first one is the MBA programs. So companies and firms all around the world that are ready to take MBAs, just as Mattia has. So there are firms that develop specific path and career growth inside the company just for the MBAs, and some others that really don't. So in one side, the MBA programs, you start and they have the perception of what you are required to do, which are your goals and possible full-time roles after the first time of the MBA internship. On the other side, if we're looking on less structured, let's say, entrance into the job market after the MBA, you have to value what are the conditions, what are the countries, what are the functions, which is the background you're bringing to the table. So that is why I think the one-to-one CDC advisor is of great value, because that way you are really aware of, okay, what's my main driver? Is it money? Is it growth? Is it industry? What type of change I want to bring to my life? Depending on that, I think that you can rely on us. So we have a whole training plan, maybe super pushy and hard sometimes because you have to couple it with the lessons, so not always that easy to tackle. We have a training plan that we dedicate to your career growth, to the typical training tools, the leadership development, also the knowledge about sectors, as I already mentioned. We never stop, let's say, igniting the job knowledge and expectations to the candidate, because we want them to be as ready as possible to grab the job or the next opportunity they are wishing.
Cinzia, are you saying that the Bocconi MBA is not only challenging, but it's actually rigorous and will inspire and yield results for its students? Is what I'm hearing?
I'm saying that.
It certainly sounds like that.
No,
Listen,
I'm saying that.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Please, after you.
Okay. No, I'm saying that we are really committed into completing the MBA academic knowledge with the knowledge of leadership. That is international leadership and cross-sector leadership. So this is our aim. We're not here to grant anything, but we're here to enlarge, to enrich, to provide further tools that if it's not us, it won't be no one.
Thank you for that. We have about time for one more question. Bara, you want to ask about the alumni?
Yeah, I do, because I often hear that any program is as good as its alumni. So what are your alumni doing and what kind of services exist for them at Bocconi?
Yes. Well, maybe on this, I'll just start and then I'll leave the floor to Mattia and also Cinzia if she wants to add something. The alumni community is big. I would say we are just talking about the MBA because then of course you need to think about all the other programs that evolve around the MBA too. So. And that's a huge part of the alumni community as well, which is in the end, part of the community. The MBA is reaching a milestone since 2024 is going to be the 50th edition. Oh. Yep. So that's going to be huge. But also, to be honest, the idea, therefore, is when graduating to have behind you already a huge line of MBA graduates. And I recently went to the annual MBA reunion, which takes place once a year, but it's like we have to choose among the different editions, and we choose and we pick each year a different one, like many different ones, because it's too many people. But it's nice also when I travel and I go to Zurich. I went there in May, and then or my colleague went to Latin America, and then when we travel, we discover that the community is bigger than we think, and this makes us really, really happy because it's active. I was at the beginning of June in Copenhagen, and I talked to the chapter there, and it's nice now to just see that in many different parts of the world there are Bocconi alumni who are super active and super, feeling really, really close to each other. This is really nice. Mattia has joined the community recently, but maybe you can share something already.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love to say that many people say that Italians are everywhere, because this is true. We emigrated everywhere. And I would love to say that in the same way, SDA Bocconi is everywhere. So I went to Chicago, was living in Chicago, and I just bumped into a random person. And randomly I asked, where are you from? What do you do? I said, oh, I'm an MBA alumnus. And then we just understood that how big our community is and how spread it around the world it is. So when I think about the community of alumnus, we basically, I will divide this into 3 different pillars. So the community is for sure is basically organizing events, is creating social structure around the world in which you can basically rely on when you are traveling, when you are working. For example, me in Zurich now, I'm relying on this community that is already in Zurich, maybe since 10, 15, 20 years. So this is the first pillar. But also the community itself is helping new students. For example, we have mentorship program. This is one of the main programs we have, in which you're going to be trained to be mentored by another alumnus that was already in Bocconi 3, 5, 10 years ago. And this is extremely important, especially coming back to the previous topic when we said, why are you doing the MBA? I'm sure that this question, maybe you answered at the beginning, but through the process, through the 15 months, you're going to have a lot of doubts sometimes. Maybe you don't know what to do, which industry to take. And having a mentor that already passed through what you passed in that year is going to help you a lot. And the third pillar is something that I really appreciate from Bocconi. Something that just recently had been put in place is that basically Bocconi wants to put effort not only for the current students, so for the current MBA, but also it created a new structure, a new program for people that already graduated. So alumnus that already are outside of the MBA, and now they're feeling, maybe you feel that you lost something behind because you're not involved in the class meetings every day, you're not with your peers. So SDA Bocconi really went one step ahead, and what they did, they organized a 3-year program in which basically every 3 to 6 months we have meetings together. We are going to receive different information about how to land a new industry, because maybe you want to change after a couple of years. So it's not that once you've done your MBA, you solve all of the problems of your life and you are ready to have your career for the next 30 years. So this is maybe the expectation, but this is not the reality. The reality is that you are still struggling with your life and you will do this forever and ever. So, and Bocconi is always there helping you. This is something I really love about the alumni community. You are never left alone. So this is something that I personally love. I was lucky enough to start with this new program, with this new structure. So I'm enjoying it 100%. And I'm glad that people that are listening to us today, they're going to enjoy also this program in the future.
Guys, this question just came in from somebody from the audience, Federico. I'm guessing he's in Italy, and his name. Says, hey, everyone, could you tell us something about the financial services? Are there any possibilities to receive loans or something like that specifically for SDA Bocconi MBA students?
Yes. Absolutely. I'll take this. So yes, we do have a really structured program when it comes to on the one hand, scholarships and tuition waivers, and on the other hand, loans and funding. For the first point, we do offer each year many different scholarships. Every scholarship is given on a merit basis. So this is really, really important. Anyone can apply. You see, if you go to the MBA website under admissions, you see the whole list, and they are divided into many different categories. You can apply to more than one. They usually cover up to 50%, but we have many also covering up to 60 or even up to 100%. This is really, really important because we really want to value merit. Merit comes from your academic and professional background, as well as from your application per se. So the GMAT, as we said before, the English level, the interview, the references, every single point is crucial. We do have some that require a specific GMAT result, but just some of them. So just to give you also the idea that we really, really focus on the whole profile and not only on specific traits. On the second point, so for the loans, we also offer that possibility is for Italian students, since I also think that Federico is Italian. You can absolutely apply or ask for basically loans that go through Banca Intesa and Banca Sella, but we have many other possibilities also for international students. So this is really important. And thanks for asking, because it's really also quite important to consider that, since sometimes you actually have even to move to a city or to even in another country when doing an MBA. So you have to consider for sure all the points.
And I'll ask a follow-up question to Federico. Thank you, Federico, for asking that. Prodigy, do you guys have a relationship with Prodigy or some of those other non-bank lenders that are known for lending to MBA candidates?
Yeah, Absolutely, that's correct. Exactly. We use work with Prodigy too, and then depending on the candidates, they sometimes also come already with specific sponsorships from maybe their country, or there are even some students coming with a company sponsorship. But for sure, the investment is personal for the majority of the times. Yeah.
Fantastic. Bocconi Dream Team, thank you so much. You guys have been fantastic. It's been really great to learn all about the program, to hear the various things you do. Mattia, how the program serves you so well. And thank you once again to everyone who listened, who asked questions. I hope it was helpful. And if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to MBA Waves on our YouTube channel. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Super. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.